this entire time to release the Mario Galaxy movie or the second Mario movie to see if that movie worked good, and then they started development and now we're doing this movie, and then boom, all of a sudden we have 3D Mario. Now we're going to be taking a look at what 3D Mario could look like in this video. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so starting everything off, we have the open world idea. So we know that every Nintendo game is going to be going open world at some point, and Galaxy 3 or the next 3D Mario seems like it's going into that direction. So how exactly will this work? Well, if you take a look at this scene right here, you can see that you have a motorcycle or some sort of vehicle. Now, this is just for the desert, and in an open world, there is a whole bunch of different little islands. Now, could this be something like Mario Odyssey, where it was semi-open world, where you still had to travel in the Odyssey to go to the next sort of open world, or it's a fully open world thing where you go into different work pipes? Now, I don't know if that would still be considered open world or not open world, but the point is, maybe you go and explore and you get a bicycle that you can drive around and you can end up to different towns. Now, speaking on towns, that could be another brilliant part of this game. If we take a look at this scene right here, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different villagers that live in this village, and they call upon Mario and Luigi to go and save them from a big sort of dragon in the cave or something scary in the cave. But you can see in the background that there clearly is a town. That maybe this could be a side quest that you have to do, or this could be a main quest. You have to go and save something, and there you go. But how would the power-ups and how would any of that stuff sort of work? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, looking at this right here, Mario and Luigi pull a fire flower from their pocket. So, if this is all true, could they actually, in fact, use this idea for the next 3D Mario? I think it's probably going to happen, because this is probably the closest way to actually determine how you use a fire flower or a power-up. So you go out and explore, and there could be different islands, different missions. You can go up on an island and use a boost star, and boom, you end up on one of these sand islands, and all of a sudden you find a power-up. Could this be a fire flower? Could this be a big mushroom? Could this be a small mushroom? Whatever the case may be, you take this and you put it inside of your magical pouch, and then when you need it, when the time is right, you will go into the next sort of level, the next idea of a level. It'll be sort of based around Odyssey, it'll based around Galaxy, where all of those levels were different, or some levels needed specific powers. Maybe it'll be around that, or maybe it'll be the player gets to choose what sort of power-up they get to use for that special level. Moving over to the next scene, however, you can see an old ruined temple. Now, this could be an ancient temple like you see in Indiana Jones or something like that. But this is really interesting because this could be the concept on how they could be shaped, any of the levels. Now, these levels could act like puzzle-solving levels, where some of the levels are going to be super hard. There will be some sort of boss fight, a big boss that you do at the end of the level, but it's your goal to go and save something or get some sort of artifact. But you look at this, you can see one of the floating platforms, so maybe this could be a concept of that idea. So you go over to one of the floating platforms. That's going to be a puzzle. Okay, you have to shoot a fireball and light up a torch, an ancient torch. And then all of a sudden you get to save someone, or you get a piece of a crystal shard, or you get something. But the point is, you do something to increase the story, or this could just be a side quest. But this seems like this could be like a main temple. Now moving over. In this scene, you can see that there's Yoshi. Now, I'm not saying that this 3D Mario game is going to have this Yoshi that comes out like this, but this could be a great way to introduce Yoshi to join your adventure. Maybe Yoshi gets to go on the back of your motorcycle and go anywhere he wants. Or Yoshi, you use Yoshi as a horse that you can giddy up all over the place. No matter where you go, Yoshi will be there. Or you could spawn Yoshi out of the sky or space or whatever it is. I think this idea is great. So maybe you start off the game with a motorbike. Then eventually you find Yoshi and you use Yoshi as your way to traverse this vast open world. Pretty interesting idea. So then we see something like another dungeon, where it's a fire dungeon. Maybe for this dungeon, you need an ice flower to put out the fire, or something like that. That would be definitely a very interesting idea. Now, I'm not saying that the 3D Mario will be exactly like the movie, but if it is, these are some great concepts into how that could work. Now, if you look at deeper into this picture, you can see there's something to do with a rift, or maybe even a big guy. That could be a boss fight that you eventually take hold into this game, or into the next 3D Mario, the Galaxy, or whatever. Maybe this holds the superstar that you need to power up your ship or your city because you're lost in space and you need something to control that grasp so you don't crash or blow up. Who knows? That could be interesting. Now, this could be where it gets even crazier. The desert could have been just a trial run, where usually in games you have the tutorial where it teaches you about the game, and then eventually the game opens up. Like if you look at this right here, we're not looking at the fish, but the background indeed. Now the background is really interesting and exciting because these colors really pop, and it leaves you that sense of exploration. Where could I go next? So maybe in fact this could be the place that it kind of traverses into every single little dimension in this game. It could be like your galaxy, or maybe you're trying to go back to the galaxy, who knows. But then, yes, we have to look at the fish. You see how the fish is glowing. This is pretty much where he gets stomped on. But what if, inside of the game, the fish holds some sort of special key that unlocks something else? So then you take the key and you go off to a special door inside of a tree or whatever it is, and it unlocks the next dungeon, temple, or something special in that regard. Could be definitely a very interesting idea. And now in this one, this little scene, we've already seen this before in another Mario movie, but this leads me to believe that this could be another sort of dungeon, or this could be like a Luigi's Mansion game where you do certain things and then the dungeon or the mansion gets more enhanced. So maybe this is what this could lead up into the game. It's not gonna look probably like this, how crazy this looks, but maybe something where it's a sort of mixed reality, a dimension that sort of flips around and does a bunch of crazy goofy things. So would be really cool. And then probably one of my favorite things, we can finally go back to the Cloud Islands. I honestly thought that the special or the secret levels inside of Mario games, where you jump from one cloud to the next cloud to the next cloud, was honestly one of the coolest things. It was super fun, so maybe this could be how this goes. So you unlock a secret pipe, or a secret boing boing, or whatever it's going to be called, and eventually you go up to the Cloud Island. You get yourself your superstar or your power up, and you make your way over. So kind of like the base either 2D games or some of the 3D games that have this special spot. I think it would be really interesting to know that you can go up the sky, and maybe eventually you'll be able to ride a cloud and you'll be able to float on top of the island in the ways that you are playing 3D Mario. So then we enter our way to another town. This could be how it works. You go from one town, and then you get yourself the superstar, and you power up your ship, and then eventually you go into the next town and you help out with a bunch of side quests. But since it would be an open world game, you're able to go anywhere you want. You could go to this town first, or go to the next town first, and the next town, and however you want. But if we look at this right here, you can see that there's probably a bunch of little toads that have side quests, or this could be Peach's Castle, or whatever it is. It would be such an interesting thing, and I hope that the next 3D Mario game is an open world game, because I feel like having this, being able to go anywhere you want, doing some levels in some way, other levels in other way, would be the coolest thing. I think Odyssey honestly did that pretty well. You go and get the moon, and then you get the other thing, and the other thing, and then you do a little boss at the end of that. This is making me realize that this could be similar to Odyssey. Maybe it's not Galaxy 3, but instead Odyssey 2. I think it's maybe a mix of both, but I think that this right here is definitely very interesting. So then, maybe this could be another potential side quest. So you see Toad is holding baby Mario and baby Luigi. Maybe this is what happens inside of this 3D Mario. They get eaten. They get forced to eat a little tiny mushroom, so then they're small, and then it's Yoshi to do something. Okay, so overall, I've been pretty much comparing this 3D Mario game closer to the movie, but maybe this is true. Maybe Nintendo has been sharing some secret details, some secret sauce on how the next 3D Mario game could be. I'm honestly really excited for that, and hopefully, it's going to be something like this. And then if you look at this right here, maybe another part of the 3D Mario game could be mixed realities or mixed dimensions. Now, we've been getting leaks about a game using something like that. Usually it's The Legend of Zelda, but what if it's Mario? What if Mario uses mixed realities and then you go back into Super Mario Odyssey and you see a level from there? And then you go over to Super Mario 3D Land and you see a level from there. Like, they could take this in so many different ways, using some ideas from the movie, using some ideas from the original 3D Mario games, using some ideas from Odyssey and maybe 64, and whatever the case may be. I think that this is awesome, and hopefully this is the way that it's going to be. So as I was editing this video, Nintendo dropped a poster for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and my goodness, it looks so good. You can see that Mario and Yoshi are standing on a little planet and they're looking at the vast open space. What if in this game you're actually able to seamlessly jump onto a superstar or whatever it is and then traverse into space to go to the next planet or the next level, and each little planet have their own open world with all of these ideas that we talked about in this video. Honestly, I think that this is a crazy idea. I hope that this happens. I can't wait for the next 3D Mario game, and honestly, this movie will bring back that Mario excitement once again. So, what are your thoughts on this new Super Mario 3D game? Or do you think, you know what, this is just a movie? I don't think it's going to be happening. Let me know what everything you think about this in the comment section down below. I would really appreciate it. I think that the next 3D Mario is going to be exciting, and I think it's probably going to be releasing this year, because if they want to make a total big capital off of what they could do, this is the way to do it. You release the game, and then you make people watch the movie, or people watch the movie first, and then later in November or whatever, October, or maybe it's in summer, 3D Mario releases to the world. So then you go and pick up 3D Mario, and then you see that this is, I've already seen this before because you watched a movie, but there's going to be different POIs and different ideas, and it's going to make you feel like you're playing the movie, but in different ways, if you know what I mean. So you get your fire flowers, or you get your secret flowers inside of your pouch that you could pick throughout your inventory. Which one do I want? There's going to be different power-ups. Maybe there's going to be a power-up that you use chains and you chain up different enemies, or one that slows down times or stops time. So some of the parkouring would be easier for you. Maybe there's going to be something that speeds up time because something is going to be happening and something's all over the place. Who knows? I think that this is definitely a very interesting and cool concept. If you couldn't tell, I am very excited about talking about the future and the theories behind 3D Mario. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, consider to hit the like button and maybe subscribing if you're new. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel. News about Nintendo, upcoming games, theories, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, and leaks and rumors, of course. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.